Retail banking, I worked for almost 4 5 years in retail banking. It included everything, that insurance, pressure, loans, everything. Okay. Now it's a CIB class. Arvind, it's a CIB class. Okay. So I've worked in the retail banking, then I've worked in the corporate finance. Corporate finance means all your module C. Whatever module C you see over here, that I've worked it personally everywhere. Okay. Then I worked in foreign banks. I worked in Citibank in trade finance and some part of the treasury back office. Then I worked in DBS also, Development Bank of Singapore. So that's why, and there also I worked in complete corporate finance and trade financing. Okay, complete, and this treasury part. So I have the total experience, means I'm just telling you for your background. Okay, I have the experience of everything, all these retail, corporate finance, trade finance, and treasury. For almost 13-14 years I've worked, and then I've left banking. Okay, to follow my own passions. Okay, so it's better. That's a separate part altogether. Chalo. So coming to the topic, this ABM module A is completely statistics. Completely. Only last part of yours, that is LPP, linear programming, that is only not related to statistics. Otherwise, it's completely statistics. Okay. Module C of yours, C. Module C is totally related to corporate finance. Corporate finance means how should you give the loans, what is the ratio analysis to be done. Then it comes the monitoring part. What are the various regulations of RBI? It comes. Now, module C, I'll tell you, some part it is numerical, but majority, 25% is numerical, 75% is theory in module C. Module A, 80% is numerical, 20% is theory. Module A is completely numerical based. That's why I'll say never ever miss any class of module A at least. If you miss out, kindly follow the revision sessions, okay, or the recorded sessions. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll start with today first topic. Directly we'll start. No introduction, nothing. Okay. Done. Introduction is enough. Whatever I gave. Okay. Now let's come to the business. Okay. So first topic is this only. Definition of statistics, importance and limitations, data collection, classification and tabulation. Now this, what do I do? Okay, my teaching style. Firstly, you remember. My teaching style is I don't go beyond your books. Okay? I'll teach only through your books. Macmillan book, complete. And I'll give you, means in writing, that if you follow my lectures for this ABM or even BFM, you need not follow any book. You need not follow any book. Okay? Just follow the lectures and the handouts which I share. I'll share you handouts also. In BFM also I share it. In this ABM also I'll share it. Okay? So you need not follow any book. Just follow the lectures and the handouts which I give you. That's it. Okay? And you'll clear your paper. Definitely. So your topic is totally from the books. So let me start. Okay. First chapter is this definition. All this big name it is there. Huh? So first today we'll be seeing the theory part. Some numericals are there that we'll see at the end. Statistical analysis of data can be comprised 4 distinct phases. So it comprises 4 distinct phases. What are the 4 distinct phases? Now see here. The question in exam, I'll always give a reference to how does the question come in the exam. That is also important, right? So the question in the exam comes like this. The first question they'll ask you, statistical analysis of the data comprises of these following stages or these following phases, and they'll give you these phases, headings only: collection of data, classification, then there's a third one, this analysis and interpretation. And out of this, they'll give you something wrong. One of them they'll give you wrong. Okay. So once they give you wrong, that is what you have to find out. Or they'll give you 3 wrong and 1 right. Anything. So anything will be given to you. You have to just follow, remember these names. Now these names are so simple, it's self-explanatory. Suppose if I tell you collection of data. So collection of data means you already know. In first stage of investigation, numerical data is collected from different published or unpublished sources, primary or secondary data. Now it's a confusion for you. Published or unpublished sources, primary or secondary data. What is primary or secondary data? See here, in every banking or every analysis, there is something called as primary and secondary data. Let me see if I have written it somewhere. No. Okay. So there is something called as primary and secondary data. What is primary data? Primary data means if I take the interview myself, I go and take the interview of you. Suppose here, right now, okay, let me explain you in simple terms. Now you are attending the live classes. Okay. So live classes are primary data. Live classes, live interview or classes. Okay. So live interview, I'll call it live interview. This is a sort of interview only, right? So live interview is a primary source, means I get the primary get it for the first time from you. Secondary data means what? Somebody has done the research and I'm just following that, right? Somebody has already done the research and I'm just quoting that. So that is called as secondary data. Where is the secondary data available? This secondary data is available over here. This published, okay? Published or even unpublished, both the ways it is available. Secondary data can be published or unpublished. Okay, so secondary means somebody has already done it and I'm just using it. Right? Classification and tabulation. The raw data is collected and collected is to be represented properly for further calculations. The raw data is divided into different groups or classes and represented in the form of table. Now understand this concept. Let me explain you here. Let me get one question from your side only. What is the difference between data and information? Information. What is the difference between this data and information? Okay. So once you understand this difference, then you'll understand this line number 2. Data means what? It's called as raw data. Raw means what? I'm taking the survey, okay, and I'm getting all the questions answered by this guy. I'm getting all this age, gender, what is the income source, everything I'm getting it, and I'm just putting it on that paper. Okay, so this is the paper. I'm getting all this information: name, age, date, and whatever this age, all this data. Okay, now let's say I'm having 1000 papers. 1000 papers. So this is the raw data for me. Once what do? I'll classify this data into various informations like name. I'll make separate columns and then input the data from here. Then second is I'll put the age, then family background, and all these things. I'll go on doing it. This is known as information. Whenever you process the data, processing of data is known as information. Okay. So whenever you process the data, then it's called as information. Okay. Yeah. So data is simply collection, raw collection of data. Okay. Next, analysis of data. Now, once you classify it here, once I go to this stage number 2, this is stage number 2, isn't it? Then third stage automatically comes analysis. Means I'll come to this column and say, okay, how many persons are there between the age group of 20 and 30? So that is stage number 3, analysis. Classified and tabulated data is analyzed using the different formulas and methods according to the purpose, right? So here you apply various formulas. So what are the formulas? So these formulas are various sampling techniques which we'll be using in our chapter number 2, 3 and all these. Okay. Not 2 actually, it's from 2 only, 2. Yeah. Next is interpretation. At the final stage, relevant conclusions are drawn from the data is thoroughly analyzed. So last one is just an analysis. Okay. Now tell me, have you used anything? Have you seen anything like this survey or anything? Right now there is an election phase, isn't it? Everyone is engaged in election, right? All that 400 plus whatever this, right? What is this? How do these news channels come up with this? What do we call them? They call it what? Survey? No. pre-election results they give, na? What is that called as? They call something. Poll something, they call something, isn't it? What is that name called as? Election poll. Something they call it, right? Exit poll, correct. Exit poll. How do these guys come up with this exit poll? From where do these get the exit poll? See here, what do they do is, the logic is this you will study in your sampling techniques. This chapter is there, sampling techniques chapter is there. It will show you how the exit polls are done. Okay? They take the sample and then apply it to the population. They'll take the sample of, let's say, 1,000 persons or 1 lakh persons and apply it to 140 crores. Okay, 1.40, whatever our figures are. Okay, so 1.4 billion. So they'll apply it to that. Okay, the importance of statistics. So where is it used? Statistics is used everywhere in life. You call it anything. You call it business, economics, medical, weather, stock market, bank. There can't be any field where there is no statistics. Now see here, why have I given this topic over here only? Only this I have explained. Others I have not explained. Medical, weather, stock market, bank. I have not explained this. Only this I have explained because this line comes in your exam. Only this line. Out of this full slide, only this line comes in your exam. Using the Bayesian decision theory, the businessman can select the optimal decisions to directly evaluate the payoff of each alternative course of action. This question comes in exam. They ask you, what do you mean by this Bayesian decision theory? And if you don't know this line, then you will answer something vague, isn't it? So the best thing is, that's why I've taken this directly from your book, and what is important only that I've taken. That's why I say, you follow this lecture for module A and C, you will not be required to do anything else. Okay? So Bayesian decision theory gives you the logic of optimal decisions to directly evaluate the payoff from each alternative course of action. Now, what do you mean by this? Optimal decision to pay off for each alternative course of action means what? Sure, it means like this. Suppose if I'm having 3 options. Suppose let's take simple example. I'm having 1 lakh rupees and I can invest in 3 options. One is mutual funds, second is FD, and third is shares, direct shares. I'll buy the shares of, let's say, Reliance, Wipro, then any HDFC Bank, SBI, any. I'll invest it in FDs. I'll invest it in mutual funds. So which is the best option? So now we need not go into this. I won't ask you this question, which is the best option. The question over here is optimal decision for the payoff. Now what is the payoff? Payoff means what? Payoff means how much is the risk and how much is the reward. If I directly invest in shares, there's a huge chance that I'll get a huge amount. I'll earn almost 50%. But there's a huge chance that my money will be lost also. If I invest in FDs, then there is a less chance of my money going down or my capital losing, but I'll get lesser returns also. Mutual fund is the average thing between these two, B and C. I'll give average returns of around 12 to 15%, and risk is also there because you read that ad, market investments are what mutual funds are subject to market risk, right? So it is definitely there. So the question over here, the point of explanation was not this, whether mutual fund is good or this. This was a Bayesian decision theory which was to be explained. It means that you have to check what is the risk and what is the reward. So here I'll write this word importantly, risk versus reward. Okay, this is always checked and this is known as a payoff. Okay, and optimal means what? A person will always select the medium risk and medium reward. Person generally doesn't select a lowest risk and lowest reward, and not the highest risk, highest reward. The person generally goes for medium risk and medium reward. Okay. Functions of statistics, again theory. All this theory part is there. So this is, see here, why have I taken this? Because it can be asked in your question. In your exam? What is the function of statistics? Statistics presents the data in the definite form. Definite means fixed form. Simplify. Statistics simplifies the complex data. Simplify means what? Once I define them in the columns, what is the age, what is the gender, what is this income, so I can simplify it and find out whatever is required by me. It is technique used for comparison. Statistics studies relationship between two or more variables, right? So I can study if I'm having age versus income. I can study which age is earning what income. It is helps in formulating policies and forecasting. So I can decide which product. What do you mean by this word policies over here? Policies means if I'm in the banking system, let's say I'm in the bank, and I get the data of 1,000 persons or 1,000 customers with various age groups, income levels. So in that case, what happens? I can define that which product is suited for which age group or which income level. So this is known as policies. Forecasting means I can definitely forecast what will be my sales or what will be my income in future, isn't it? What are the limitations? Statistics does not deal with individuals, right? Does not deal with individuals means it doesn't have the feelings, right? Munna bhai MBBS. Remember Munna bhai MBBS. सब्जेक्ट को ये नहीं पता कि वो क्या कर रहा है. सब्जेक्ट. Remember anyone has seen this Munna bhai MBBS? First Munna bhai. There were 3-4 later. So first Munna bhai. Subject को ये नहीं पता. That is statistics. Statistics doesn't deal in emotions. It deals only with numbers. Okay. So statistics does not deal with individuals. Statistics does not study qualitative data. Means again the same thing. Subject. Qualitative, what do you mean by this qualitative word? Qualitative word means emotions. Whenever any person, see, you see in 2019 also, when this elections were there, general elections, right? 2014 also, 19 also, many of the exit polls have gone wrong. Many of them have gone wrong. They predicted this much seats, 150 seats to BJP, 180 seats to BJP. How many came? 300. Why? 300 plus. Why did they come? Because qualitative data. The person who goes and checks that respondent, he doesn't check what is the mindset of that person. Is that person really telling you the truth or false? That is not checked. So that is the problem with statistics. Subject ko ye nahi pata. Okay? Statistics gives results only on an average basis. Now what do you mean by this average basis? Average means what? There are two types of averages. One is simple average, second is weighted average. Okay? In fact, let me see if I have given it over here. There are actually in weighted average also there are two types. Okay? Let me see. If it's there only then I'll give you. Otherwise, I won't confuse you. Okay? So there are two types of averages. One is simple, second is weighted. Simple average means what? Suppose if I give you, see this table I have shown you. Age and weight, right? Age and weight. I have given this. So if I want a simple average of age, what will I do? 9 plus 10 plus 11 upon 3. Done. Weight, 50 plus 55 plus 60 upon 3. Done. So this is simple average. Okay. What is a weighted average? Weighted means what? There's a multiplication involved. Means what? I'll multiply this weight with the age. And then I'll divide it with this age. Okay. So 50 into 9 plus 50 into 10, 55 into 10 plus 60 into 11 upon this age. 5 plus 9 plus 10 plus 11. Okay. So this is known as a weighted average. Weighted means what? We give here, what is the difference between simple average and weighted average? Here what happens? The one who's having the maximum weight, okay, or who's having the maximum voting power, we call it. So that person will get the maximum weightage over here, okay, or importance over here. That is called as a weighted average. Okay. There is also, now again I told you there are two types of weighted averages. So what are those two types? I will just give you the names. I won't go into the details. Otherwise you'll get confused. Okay. The weighted averages are, one is exponential weighted average and second is normal weighted average, simple weighted average. Exponential means it is related to e raised to. So that is different. You are not concerned with that. That is not there in your CIB studies. So let's leave it. Otherwise, what will happen? You'll say, sir, पहले ही कम है क्या? और दे रहे हो आप? Okay. So take only two things: simple and weighted. Right? Done. The results can be biased. Obviously, they can be biased because if the person who's telling you the result or giving you the interview, if that person is fooling you, then what happens? You'll get a wrong result, isn't it? Definitions. Now, important definition. Look at this. Population. What do you mean by population? See this. Let's come to this election only. Yeah, E is constant, 2.72. Okay. So E, that's why I didn't give you this number E. Because what happens, many of them are non-engineers or non-science students, isn't it? Science students remember all this. They have done throughout their life, isn't it? 2.72 E. Okay. But those who are from BCom, BA, they won't understand it. That's why forget it, isn't it? Chalo, move on. Population. What is population? See this. Population means what? Let's say today only. Now the elections are going on. What is the population? Population means complete that 1.4 billion, right? 1.4 billion, everyone is a population. What is a sample then? Sample means where the interviewer goes. हाँ, आपने किसको वोट दिया? आप क्या चाहते हो? That is a sample. Now always sample is chosen from that population. Now you see, very important point. You might feel, what is this? What am I talking? Everyone knows sample is chosen from that population. You know it. But I'll tell you, you'll forget this when you do the sampling chapter. Okay, that's why these basics you must always remember. Sample is always chosen from the population. Sample can never be greater than the population size. Never ever. Okay. So it is the entire collection of observations. What is the population? Entire collection of observations, person, animal, plant, blah blah blah, whatever it is, from which we may choose to collect the data. Right? From whatever I choose, if I choose to collect the data from the 1.4 billion citizens of India, then that is a population of mine. If we are studying the weight of the adult men in India, the population is the set of weights of all the men in India, isn't it? Data can be classified into two types based on the characteristics, variates and attributes. Again, exam question. They have very much liking for this theory part. Always remember. Variate and attributes. No. They'll ask you, what is a variate? What is an attribute? You have to know this. A characteristic that varies from one individual to another can be expressed in the numerical terms called as variate. What do you mean by this? Varies from one individual to other. What can vary from one individual to other? Anything. My age is different, your age is different. My income is different, your income is different. My nature is different, your nature is different. So this variate can be qualitative or quantitative, both. Quantitative means where you can study, where you can measure it. Age, it's a number. Whatever is a number is known as a quantitative. Whatever is not a number is known as qualitative. I am good. How much good? 10% good, 20% good? You can't define, right? So that's qualitative aspect. In school, you might have studied. How many of you have studied the school? Everyone, obviously, isn't it? So in school, you might have studied types of nouns. What were the types of nouns? Anyone remember? Okay, let's take the revision of your school level. How many types of nouns were there? Common noun, proper noun, right? Collective noun. And one was there. This one was important. Common, proper, collective, this is all school. I don't want any of these because I'm not concerned with this. One thing which is important, that is abstract noun. Abstract noun was one of the types of that nouns, right? Remember anyone? Abstract noun. What is abstract noun? Abstract noun means which you cannot count. That is known as a qualitative data. Qualitative data means abstract noun, which you cannot count. Okay? So, coming back. A characteristic that varies from one individual to another can be expressed in the numerical terms and is called as a variate. Okay? Prices of one commodity, wages of workers, heights, weights, these are all variates. Now, important part is over here is it is mentioned that numerical terms, expressed in numerical terms. So, what did I tell you? I am good. How much good I don't know. But if I'm able to define this goodness, then it becomes a variate. Okay? A characteristic that varies from one individual to another but can't be expressed in numbers is known as attribute. So this goodness can't be expressed. Good, bad. But if in any case you are able to define this in numbers, then it's okay. Then it becomes a variate. Okay. So what do we do in banking system? In our banking system, we always try to convert the attribute to the variate. Remember this. In any banking system, we try to convert the attribute to the variate. You'll say how? How do I convert attribute to the variate? Can anyone give me the example? How to convert the attribute to the variate? Can anyone give me the example? Attribute. Attribute means what? It is different but can't be counted. Attribute converted to variate. Variate means it is different but it can be counted. What is the example of this? I'll give you a very simple example and then you'll say, oh yes, why didn't we remember? The example is CIBIL score. What is the CIBIL score? CIBIL score, right? All of us follow the CIBIL score now. What is the CIBIL score? It gives you the history of that person, whether this person is good or bad in financing, repaying the loans, isn't it? So what is that? It is basically whatever I have done in my past, I am giving a number to that. So what am I doing? I am converting this attribute to the variate, isn't it? Getting this? Everyone got this? Firstly, tell me, everyone, is it clear the concept? Because in ABM and BFM, your concept should be very clear. Only then we can go ahead. Otherwise, just learning won't help you at all in both the subjects. Understood up till now? Okay? Chala, move on. Quantitative or numerical variables can be further classified as discrete or continuous. Now, what is discrete and what is continuous? Okay. Discrete means what? If I give you, let's say 10 apples. Okay. If I give you 10 apples. So you can definitely count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10. Okay. If I give you 1 kg of sugar. Okay. And tell you to count how many grains are there of sugar. Count. Go on counting number of grains. Not possible. So whatever can be counted in numbers easily, that is known as discrete. Whatever cannot be counted in numbers or whatever is a continuous function, that is known as a continuous. Right? Simple. So once you understand the logics here, I always give you the simple examples of your daily life. Once you understand the concept or with the examples, then you'll understand the theory very simply, isn't it? So variate can have discrete or distinct value. In other words, can take countable and usually finite number of values is called as discrete variable. Means what? A variate which takes discrete or distinct values. Distinct means which can be counted separately. Distinct means what? There are 5 persons. Means what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can count them. That is called as distinct. Okay. In other words, and can be take only countable and usually finite number, countable and finite. So that is called as discrete. Okay. What is continuous then? A variate that can take any value within a range is called as continuous. Within a range means, say this, 40 to 60, 60 to 80, whatever is in between them, that is known as a continuous. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, discrete. Number of members in the family, number of accidents, all this is discrete. Okay. Percentage of marks, height, weight, and this various ranges given. Okay. Got it? Got the concept? Discrete and continuous. Whatever can be counted, simply countable and finite. Within the range, continuous. A parameter. Parameter is the numerical value or a function of the observation of the entire population being studied. Numerical value or function of the entire population. Now, one thing is there anything next one given? No. Okay. There are 2 terms. Okay. I have not given this over here. Yeah, I have written it over here. See this. There are 2 terms which you will always face throughout your module A now. Complete. One is population and second is sample. Population, sample. Population, sample. Everywhere you will go on these 2 words only. Whatever I measure for population is called as parameter. Whatever I measure for sample is known as statistic. So remember, S for S, P for P. Remember it that way. P for P, S for S. Okay. Now what do you mean by this? Suppose let's say I find out the mean mean of the population. Now see here, mean of population, it's called as parameter. But the same mean for sample is called as statistic. So mean is same, but for whom I am working, if I am working for population, I am called parameter. If I am working for sample, I've called as statistic. Okay, and the difference between these two, mean for population and mean for sample, whenever I apply this, the difference is known as standard error. This term you will get it when you will solve the chapter of sampling and correlation and regression. There you will get all these terms. Okay, I'm just explaining you the basic rules of this. Same person working for population, parameter. Same person working for sample, statistic. The difference error between them, or the difference between them, standard error. Clear? A parameter is also known as unknown, is usually known as unknown value that is fixed. Unknown value. Okay. So here again, I'll give you the election example only. Whether this party will get the majority or that party will get the majority, this is from the population, but you don't know, because voting is done by the population, but the sampling is done from the sample, right? I mean the statistic is taken from the sample. So there can be an error in these. So this error is known as standard error. Parameter is usually the unknown value. You don't know. You can't go and ask each and every person in the country to whom have you voted, right? You can find out the samples. Population mean, population median, population standard, these are all parameters. Similarly, the same example can be given for statistic. Okay? For entire sample it is studied, statistic. So same thing, sample mean, sample median, sample this, all these samples. Okay? Collection of data, primary data and primary data. Now this already I have explained. Primary data is the data which is collected directly or for the first time by the investigator or the researcher, right? How did you feel about that movie, right? This movie, that movie, everything, all these things, right? There are 1,000 things going on nowadays with this what, YouTube. Okay, thousands of interviews are going on everywhere. Okay, primary data is collected by following the methods. Now what are the methods for collecting the primary data? It's very simple. Direct interview method means I'll come to you. How do you feel? What do you feel about the class? See here, what am I asking you? I've just now asked you, is everyone clear about this up till now, whatever we studied? What is that? Primary data, right? So direct interview method, face-to-face contact is made with the informants or respondents under this method of collecting the data. The interviewer asks the questions pertaining to the survey and collects the desired information, right? You all might have given some surveys, right? In your life also. In your banking also you might have given those surveys. In bank also nowadays they ask you, well, how do you feel? What is this working environment? Or what should be the changes? Nobody applies the changes, but then also they ask you. Don't they ask you? Do they ask you in your bank? In some online HR platform they ask you, have you given any survey or any feedback in your HR forms somewhere? Have you given anyone feedback form or something? You might have given somewhere, isn't it? I know you don't give any feedback properly, because I know if you tell, we all are afraid in the bank, right? Suppose if you give the feedback that the environment in the branch is not proper. Imagine if you give the feedback, the manager is not proper. All of you are afraid that, oh, if I give you this, it will first go to the manager, right? It will first go to the manager that, see, this guy is saying manager is not proper. Dekhta hu isko dekhta hu, right? Yeah. Training system, that is also a best thing. Training system. I know the feedback. See here, how many you all have attended the training systems, right? Trainings. How do you give the feedback? And generally, I'll tell you, the trainer will give you that form whenever the time has exceeded. The lecture was for 2 hours. Last evening, 5:30, it was to get over. That trainer will continue till 5:45 and then give you the feedback form. Always. So what happens? At 5:45 you are in a hurry. Chal, ye le. 5, 5, 5, 5. Okay, move on. That's what we do generally, isn't it? So this feedback, that's why I said qualitative data. Qualitative data is not there here. Everyone knows how that feedback form is filled, right? Do you know, in our bank, when I was working with one of the foreign banks, the rule was, I'll tell you the funniest part of the rules over there. Suppose if I attend a training, okay, and I give all the ratings at 4 and 5, very good, okay. What did they do? Do you know? They don't do it in your nationalized banks. They should do in your nationalized banks also. Suppose if I give a rating of 4 and 5 to that training, after 7 days or 4 days, they used to give me a form with the questions based on that training, technical questions. And if I have given the feedback of 5 and I can't answer the questions, then I was questioned. How did you give 5 when you can't answer these questions? That should be done in all the trainings. It should be done in all the trainings, right? Otherwise, giving the response 5 is not that difficult, isn't it? So direct interview method. So here the person collects the data directly from that by interviewing it for the first time, right? Does the survey, collects the questions and the forms. Second is what? Questionnaires. Questionnaires are survey instruments containing short closed-ended questions and broad open-ended questions, right? So this is given. Closed-ended means what? Closed-ended, multiple choice. Now all your exams, right? All your exams, JIB, CIB, what is that? That is closed-ended, isn't it? Broad open-ended means what you give in the schools, school level. Write an essay. Mere priya chacha ji, right? You wrote that. Mere priya chacha ji, hamare bapu ji, and what? 1000. We used to give all that. Railway station par ek ghanta, right? All that. That is broad open-ended, isn't it? One of my friend had written one very best. I still remember. One of my friend had written this essay. Bus stand. There was a question. Bus stand par ek ghanta. Aisa. That was one. This essay which had come. So what this guy, the guy wrote. Bus stand par ek ghanta. In the first line he wrote, there was one big bell which was brought on that bus stand, and then in the full essay, he gave the description of that bell, how that bell was. That bell was made of metal, and so. Every person you came, he rang that bell. Everything he wrote on that bell only. Ghanta means it can be either 1 hour or it can be a bell. So he wrote about the bell only. And the teacher had to give the marks in that case. Okay. So broad open-ended. Okay. So these are the two types, closed or open. Okay. Census and sample survey. What is census? Census means doing the survey of each person. See here, in a census, the data is about the individual units are collected from this population. Okay. Survey's data is collected from the sub part of the population, some part. See, the census is done for the entire population, and survey is done for some part of that, samples. Okay, that's why all these agencies are also saying, in India the census has not been done. Okay, last census was done in 2011. Okay, 2011 census data we are using. Now the census is pending for India. Okay. So this census means collecting the information from entire population. Each and every household, a person goes and asks. Okay, that is census. Survey means sample. Out of this 100, I'll take 5 only. So that is sample. Okay. So these data are then used to estimate a characteristic of the whole population. What does it mean? See this. I'll collect the sample of 4. Okay. And then I'll apply it to the entire population, right? So that is survey, right? Simple, yeah. Take self-appraisal. Yeah, self-appraisal is always required. See this, of course, I say everything is fake, to be frank. From my view, I'll say self-appraisal and any appraisal. It's self-appraisal means how do you rate yourself. If it is done properly, then you must give your shortcomings also in the self-appraisal. You must give your shortcomings, means I'm weak in this, I'm weak in that, but we don't write it. That's why I said many of them are fake. Whenever I'm giving a self appraisal, I must tell that I must weak in this, I am weak in this, I'm weak in that, I need to improve on this. But we don't write this. We all write the good things about us in self appraisal. It should not be done. We must write the bad things also. Okay. So coming back to this, okay, survey versus census. Okay, so we'll just I'll give you one example and then we'll shift from here. Suppose if you want to eat a rice, okay, rice. So while eating that rice, whether it's hot or cold, do you put your hand in the entire rice? No, we just take one bite of it, right? So that one bite will give you how is that entire plate of rice, hot or cold, isn't it? So that's the meaning and difference between survey and census. Okay, survey is done by taking simple means some part of this, and census is done throughout taking the entire population. Okay, secondary data. This already you know. Second-hand information, right? The data which have already been collected and processed by some agency or persons and is collected for the second time. Okay, so this already you know. Secondary data may be collected from the existing records of different published or unpublished sources like WHO, UNESCO, LIC, SBI, anything you call it. Even you can give your own name. Okay. So anyone who has done a survey and I am using it, so it's called as a secondary data. Okay. Classification and tabulation. The method of arranging the data into homogeneous groups or classes according to some common characteristics present in the data is called as classification. Now, what do you mean by this? Homogeneous groups. It means that simple. See here, I gave you this example, data to information. Processing of data is called as information. So homogeneous groups means I'll make the intervals. The salary between 20,000 to 30,000, salary between 30,000 to 40,000. So anyone who is between 20 to 30 will have a similar thinking or similar problems. Anyone who is between 70 to 80,000 will have different problems. A person who is earning 1 lakh, will have different problems than the person who is earning 30,000, isn't it? So same thing, common characteristic present in the data is called as classification. The process of sorting the letters in the post office, letters are classified according to the cities and further arranged according to the streets, right? Qualitative, quantitative, already repetition. There are 4 important bases of classification. Qualitative, here the data is classified according to some quality or attribute such as gender, religion, literacy, means which generally cannot be measured in numbers. Okay. Quantitative means data is classified according to quantitative characteristics like height, weight, age, income, etc., which can be measured in numbers. Geographical base. Here the data is classified by the geographical regions or locations such as states, cities, all this. So these are simple terms. That's why I am moving fast. Okay. Chronological or temporal base. Now chronological, this is an important part. First 3 are very easy. Qualitative, which cannot be measured in numbers. Quantitative can be measured in numbers. Geography, area, state, cities, country, everything. But this chronological, this is important, and this is your exam question. Now see here, in exam they might be asking you what are the important bases of classification on which the data is classified. So you need to answer this: qualitative, quantitative, geographical, chrono. Okay. But if they ask you separately chronological, then you have to think over it. Chronological means what? The data is classified or arranged by the time of occurrence such as years, months, weeks. This is also known as time series. This is a separate chapter for you, time series, and that's why I said this is important. Time series is a separate chapter for you. Time series means what? It's a history. Whatever the history is a time series. When did dinosaurs come? Then afterwards human being came. So that's basically time series. Okay. Chronology, series, serial order. Okay. Types of classification. If we classify the observed data by a single characteristic, it is known as one-way classification. Single characteristic means population can be classified by religion, all these religions, okay, or two characteristic. If we classify the data by two characteristics at the time of classification, it is called as two-way classification. Means what? Religion and gender. So if I have two parameters for classification, it is called as two-way. If I have one parameter, it's called as one-way, single, right? Got it? Simple. If we consider more than two characteristics, now again here, religion, gender and literacy, three things I have added. So if more than two characteristics at the time of, in order to classify the observed data, it is known as multi-way classification, okay? So more than two, multi-way, up to two, two-way, single, one-way, okay? Actually, the topic is over here only, okay? Today's topic is over. Let me see if I can take some, okay, let me take some revision here. We are having 5-10 minutes now. Let me take some revision of yours. Hold on. So have you understood up till now? Okay, you understood? Yeah, because here what's important is you must be able to, in ABM and BFM both, I'll tell you some basic hints. You try to understand the topic, don't try to learn them, okay? Never ever try to learn them. Learning is not possible in ABM and BFM. See here, I'll give you the toughness level in your CAIIB. Toughness level is, first tough part is BFM. Very tough. Lower than that is ABFM and ABM. These two are equally tough. BRBL is a bit okay. Because this you have studied it in your JIB also. BRBL, the legal topic which was there, legal subject, that is same as BRBL. So that is okay type. But ABFM and ABM equal. BFM is the toughest part in your CAIIB, I'll tell you. Very tough. Okay. One sec. Let me see if I'm having some revision part today. ABM notes, definitions. No, these are directly from your next chapters, further chapters. Okay, let me take some revision on this classification. Okay, we'll take the revision on whatever we have studied today. See, this is the data I'll be sharing with you. This is a PDF which I'll be sharing with you. See this, ABM important theory PDF. This PDF I'll be giving you later. Complete ABM theory, it's there, complete. Okay, so look at this, simple. What do you mean by qualitative data? Are you able to see this, everyone? Or aren't you? Let me make this bigger. Hold on. Enable editing. This is separately prepared by me. Okay, it is separately prepared by me. It's not the part of your regular course, but then also I generally share it with all you guys, because after all you have to clear the exam, right? Are you able to see this now? Yeah, I'll share this, not an issue. One sec. Let me see, are you able to see this now or not? Hold on. Yeah, see this. Now it's simple, I think so. You might be able to see this now. Right? See this. Big wordings I have taken, big letters. Okay? Now it might be visible for you. Qualitative, quantitative, all these definitions are given in this complete sheet. Okay? I'll be sharing this sheet with you, not today, mostly tomorrow, day after tomorrow, 2-3 days I'll be sharing. Total I'll be sharing with you roughly 4 to 5 PDFs. Okay? One is this. Second is question bank. Okay? I'm having one question bank along with answers. Okay? That also I'll be sharing. Third is book notes. Your complete book, Macmillan book, complete notes I have taken out. Okay? Those I'll be sharing. And last one is formulae. Formulae for ABM and BFM. I have done a combination of ABM and BFM formulae, complete. So that I'll be sharing it with you. Okay, so total 4 to 5 PDFs I'll be sharing with you. Okay, plus there is one ratio analysis also. Ratio analysis, you have it in your ABM module C. So that also I'll be sharing it with you separately. So these 4-5 PDFs I'll be sharing with you. Okay. Yeah, this is for all the modules. See this, whatever these definitions I have taken now, this is for all the modules. Question bank, all the modules. It is including B, C, D, everything. Okay. So you can follow this much also, and you can clear it. Okay. So at least here, module A and C, whatever I am telling you, you follow my classes only, and that is enough for you guys. Okay. And this PDFs, whatever I share. Chalo, understood? Chalo, bye everyone. Don't forget to give the ratings, everyone. Okay. Ratings are important at the end because this is a survey. After all, this is a primary data. The ratings which you give is a primary data, isn't it? So don't forget to give the ratings. Okay. Chalo, bye. And we'll meet on Monday now, not tomorrow. Okay. Good night. Bye, 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 everyone. Thanks, Gopal. Thanks. Okay.